It's coming. It's coming. Hi, everybody. I'm just deciding what to play here. Do I play Ejection Week? Do I play Fact Check? Do I play... Oh, I know. Here's an oldie but a goodie. Coming. Hey, welcome everybody. I am your Heavenly Father. This is the live stream, and I've been demonetized. But before we get going here, I just want to say thank you so much, everybody who stepped forward. You've been sending me the PayPals. You've been sending me the Venmos. You're all fantastic. Andy, I didn't get a chance to thank on air. Producer Rich Mack, sent in some his fee. His monthly fee, executive producer, by the way. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Rick. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, everybody. If you want to chat, easiest way to do that is to go to YouTube, youtube.com/KevinlyFather. If you want to contribute, PayPal, Venmo, or just go to KevinlyFather.com, become a patron. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a young lady who's irrelevant. I'm going to say mostly irrelevant in Congress. She does sit on two committees on which she is the minority. She's already irrelevant. So we are going to vote. Congress is voting right now. I'll bring up that vote right now. Here we go. There's the vote. So Congress is voting right now. The totals are 191 to 170. Time is expired, but that doesn't matter because they will still continue collecting the votes. It takes longer than your usual time because people are coming in and voting by proxy rather than announcing their votes individually because of COVID. So what's happening right now, the bottom line of what is going on is she will be taken off her committees. She's not going to be expelled. She's still going to represent the people of her district in Georgia. But she will make a lot more money. This is a fundraising opportunity for her. And she has made tens of thousands of dollars off of this already. And if she gets kicked off the committees, she will make a mint for her campaign. So is this a good idea? No, she's already irrelevant. You're helping Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, the principle of... No, she's not going to be completely removed. If this was a vote to expel her, you'd need 2/3. It makes sense. It's in the Constitution. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. If that's what... But, yeah, no, we just... You know how she threatens to shoot us in the head? I think that's a pass, but she really shouldn't be on the Budget Committee. You know how she said the Jews have space lasers... And they started the forest fires in California so they could build the light rail because they were going to make money off the light rail in which they weren't invested because George Soros, something. This is a money maker. I know, it's going to feel great. And what is life about? I've told you before, life is about feelings. Speaking of feelings, I don't feel like broadcasting for very long. I'm kidding. I will have to go at some point. I feel like broadcasting all day. All day, every day with you. Making the YouTube money. What? I'm sorry, I've been demonetized? For what? Because I'm harmful? What? How was I? Oh, I'm making people feel ridiculous for taking Marjorie Taylor Greene off of... This is not a popular opinion. This is not. I'm not making Democratic friends right now. I'm not making Republican friends right now. But honestly... It's silly. Right now, the score is 202 in favor of taking her off the committees, 188 in favor of keeping her on the committees, pretty much split along party lines, 4 Republicans voting for yes. And the fact that we have to have a debate on a QAnon believer, who, by the way, said yesterday she would never apologize. Today, she... wasn't quite contrite. I'm just going to say she made it all the way up to con in her argument. Shall we watch that? Shall we watch that together here? This is everybody, but we don't want everybody. We just want her. Let's see if we can dig her out. She was not part of the debate, which is weird. Really weird. Here we go. This is her statement right here. I'll keep an eye on the vote as we watch this statement.
The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from...
Recognizes. I love it when people say recognize. Recognize. You don't really need to say the G in there. There's some words where you can just say it. Say it properly. Clinton. No, there's a T. Clinton. Say it that way. It's like an East Coast thing. But recognize sounds so much better without the G. And when you think about, say it a few times. It's one of those weird words. Recognize. Recognize. There's no K. There should be a K in there. Recognize. 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 The chair recognizes. I recognize that recognize should be said recognize. And I may start that. I don't know. If you want to start that in your own home, please feel free to. I got to make this big for you guys. This is big. This is so big. Right now, take an update on... I can't take an update on... I'm on the wrong screen because I am terrible at what I do. And which is why I don't get paid except from you. But you guys, the money, I want to say pouring in. The money has been coming in even after we broadcast yesterday. You European folks woke up, if you're watching it now or later, and we're like, hey, my computer just made a lot of noise, and I don't know why. I don't think that's a good sign. Hey, Kev, here's some money. So I woke up this morning, and people had PayPal'd me. Oh, like, thank you. So I think maybe a positive in the long run that YouTube defunded me. Maybe I'll start myself a GoFundMe or something. I don't know. Hold on. Let's make sure you guys can see the top of my hair. That's the important part right there. This hair that just wants to get away and live on its own. Eventually, your hair wants to be independent. That's just the way, that's nature's biology. Just like a daughter and a mother will fight when the daughter's a teenager in order so that she leaves the nest and the species survives. The same thing with a man's hair. It's biologically all set up. That's the way it should do. I did have a big lunch. I'm amazed I'm awake right now because I made ribs. For those of you who follow me on the Twitters. And if so, facto, right now the totals are 217 to 193. Probably enough to shut the whole thing down. 4 Republicans voted yes. So we lost a Republican. Okay, switch back to 4. It was 3 for a second. Switch back to 4. So 10 Republicans voted to impeach President Trump. Fewer than that, by half, have voted to... Okay, there. Now it's 5. By half exactly. I'm so number worthy. I should say number nerdy. My dad's an engineer, so I said by half. It was 4, which isn't half of 10. I should have said by 60%, and then it switched. It'll probably switch back to 4 and make a liar out of me. But that's what I do. I lie. I harm. I don't want to harm you with my mathing. By the way, welcome everybody. Greg sent me some money on the PayPal. Thank you very much, Greg. I think Stephanie did. Marcy did. Michelle may have. I forget. I'm sorry. It's like a bunch of people just sent me money, which is awesome. So many of you, not so many, but a couple of you sent money and said, hey, I'm sorry it's not much, but no. Anything. I'm just a stranger. I'm just a harmful stranger on YouTube. And you're taking it out of your goods, your property. There's a better word for what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is I appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys. You know who else I appreciate? Marjorie Taylor Greene for being irrelevant, but keeping us interested. She's now probably the most famous Republican in the House. Again, all of the Republicans in the House are irrelevant because they keep losing elections. Cumulatively. Individually, obviously they won their election to get there. Time remaining 0, but sorry, we covered that already. So 224 to 195 is the current vote. Not voting is 13 people who've just said, you know what, I'm here, I'm present, I'm not going to get involved in this, because you got to have courage. 8 Republicans have now voted to kick her off the Budget Committee. Kevin McCarthy should have taken this care of this himself. Kevin is the leader of the Republicans in the House. He should have stepped forward last night and made this happen. But Marjorie Taylor Greene just walked all over him yesterday, said he was the same as Democrats, which Kevin probably realizes is a compliment. But, he's already picked his team. This, I believe, this is a user clip from C-SPAN, so it may be what we want, it may not be.
From Georgia for 10 minutes.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, my
It's nice that her mask says free speech if you can't read it.
Democrat colleagues,
Democratic. Can we just start with one thing, Republicans, members of the GOP? Can we just can you just call the other party by the name which they've chosen? For example, there are people out there named Elizabeth. Hey Liz, how you doing? Oh, Liz is okay. Hey Beth, how you doing? Yeah, I don't like Beth. And I never felt like a Beth. It says Lizzie's fine, Liz, Elizabeth, just not Beth. It's all the same name, by the way. Okay, Karen. No, you can, if you don't like the way, it's your name. The one thing you don't want to do is say someone's name too much, because then you wear it out and then they won't respond anymore. Watch this. Say my name. Watch. Say my name. Say it. See? And I responded. Say it again. These are the judges. You can't hear them. They're in my ear, but you can't hear them. There's four judges. Usually there's a panel of 5, but there's 4 judges today. One of them was exposed to COVID, so she is out for 2 weeks. So we're down to 4 judges today. But they're all saying my name. They're in my ear. So hold on. Yeah. Oh, you're doing my I thought they were actually going to say something. They're just doing my name right now. Hold on. Okay, keep going. Wait. And then when I turn away, give it a second and then say my name, because at some point we'll get to the point where you've worn it out. If anything I heard on the schoolyard as a child was true, at some point you wear someone's name out. Go ahead, guys. Say, oh, you've been saying it. Oh, there it is. 4 people saying your name multiple times in a short percent. Your name wears out much more quickly than you would have thought of. All the Europeans or Australians where they don't have that stupid thing. This is a thing, at least in Canada, possibly in America. And tell me if you haven't heard it, or if you did hear that as a kid. Tell me when people say, "Hey, Kevin, that's my name. Don't wear it out." And as a kid, I was like, "Can you wear out someone's name? Is that a thing, or is it just my schoolyard?" Let's go to the CNN at randoms is being bossy. She wants us to go to CNN. I happen to have them pulled up right now. Let's take a look.
Through one of the side doors and went to get on an elevator.
Hold on. Sounds like a story.
For their safety.
Yeah.
Be made. I guarantee you that somebody could look at that and say, wait a minute, this goes beyond the pale. This crosses the line into criminal activity. And that's why I think the Democrats really have no choice to move forward.
Are you guys just doing Bohemian Rhapsody in the chat room? I was doing a little vignette for you. Oh, now they're pissed off. Now they're like, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to put on a show for the chat people if they're just going to ignore what we're doing. I apologize, guys. I thought that they were listening to what we were doing, what really you guys were doing, and that they were coming along for the enjoyment. So you're saying you don't want to interact with the chatters anymore? Is that the case? See what you've done now, guys? Don't expect any more bells from the judges today. Come on.
Since the Republican caucus doesn't seem to want to do that and just placate a base that's just, I still believe is a relatively small base, but a base nonetheless.
Wolf, if I can make a point about that.
Go ahead, Ryan.
To Dana's point and to the senator's point, there are
11 Republicans have now voted to take MTG off of the committees. We did it! We got more votes than Trump impeachment for something completely irrelevant. Congratulations to Joanna on being first, judges. No, the judges are not going to give Joanna the bell for being first. Wow. Guys, I don't think they were trying to upset you. What's that? Oh, I'm not going to say that to them. Besides, you can't do that to yourself. I've tried. That's a Clint Eastwood joke. Does anybody get that reference? Nobody knew the reference of the song I used earlier today. Joanna, you're going to have to go back and listen to understand any of what I just said there. No one is listening to me right now is what I'm saying. So you guys just talk with Joanna in the chat room there because she pays no heed to me.
Democratic members that truly fear.
Speaking of which, if you were thinking of paying me heed or paying me mind, you can just get me cash. PayPal.me/KevinLeeDad.
For their safety, based because of this rhetoric that they've seen from Congresswoman Greene. And I just want to illustrate for you a moment that I witnessed here.
Okay, he's gonna give us I'm laughing at myself right now. It probably looked like, oh, he's looking at his phone and he read a funny tweet or somebody sent him something. No, I'm literally laughing at the thoughts going through my head right now. It's kind of fun in here. Oh, that is true. Yeah.
In the halls of the Capitol just yesterday, we saw that Marjorie Taylor Greene was on the House floor. We ran down to try and get comment from her as she exited the House floor. She left through one of the side doors and went to get on an elevator. As she was waiting to get on that elevator, guess who was coming up the elevator waiting to get off? The House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. They were feet away from each other. And to Dana's point, she has talked about putting a bullet in the head of the House Speaker, and they were just feet apart from each other. Of course, the House Speaker has an enormous amount of protective detail around her, but this is in the backs of the minds of all these members of Congress as they walk these halls, that they've had a member, a fellow colleague that has espoused this kind of rhetoric before she came to this body. So that's part of why they want to hold her accountable for those actions.
Here's what to do if you are in a situation like that where there is Marjorie Taylor Greene and you're a congressperson whom she has threatened. You want to have a security detail with you, and you just want to make sure that they're ready to go. They're ready for action. If Lauren Boebert attacks you, what you do is you take her and you put her in your pocket. Whatever pocket, or if you don't have any pockets, because a lot of women's pants don't have pockets, put her in your purse. Just a change purse. She should fit right in there.
She can try and dismiss it and say it was just talk on the internet, that, it was something to rile up her supporters, but those words have meaning. And just think of it in your own work life.
I am not 100% convinced that words have meaning for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
If you went to work with someone that you knew was on Facebook calling for your execution a few months before you went to work with them.
Oh, wait, this is way back. We heard that anecdote.
It was the overwhelming Republican vote. And I think what you saw is that Republicans were holding out until the very end. And then they saw that this was going to be an overwhelming vote and they needed to vote their conscience. I mean, what Marjorie Taylor Greene did was outrageous, threatening violence against other members and other individuals. This should be a no-brainer.
The argument that Kevin McCarthy...
The pocket Boebert from My Pillow. My Boebert. I'm starting up a new company called My Boebert. We're going to manufacture them. You can just take them along with you. And anytime you want somebody to complain or ask to talk to a manager, you just take her out, put her on the counter. I don't think it's that funny. I'm picturing it now. And I'm in a specific restaurant, little cafe, I put her on the counter and I can see the people behind the counter and she's just, I am a freshman and I will take, I had another thought one time, unrelated.
McCarthy and the Republican leadership are making. Yeah, she said all these things before she was elected to the House of Representatives. And at least last night, he said in that private meeting that the Republican conference had, she apologized. We didn't hear a full-throated apology.
Okay, so it's done. It's overwhelmingly, she's done with her committees. Here's what happens now. She will, like Steve King before her, who was censored for saying, "I don't understand why white supremacy is so bad." When did those words become negative? She will spend the rest of her time in Congress the next 2 years doing not much. She would have had committees and responsibilities, so slightly better that she's not taking up time in those committees, the Budget Committee, the Education Committee. So that was her job for the next couple of years. So she will get to vote on things. Again, she's Republican, so she's irrelevant. In the committee, she would have been irrelevant, but she would have taken up time. So really, we just spent a couple of hours creating a minor time saver for the folks in Congress, which, I mean, honestly, with the amount of C-SPAN that I watch, worth it. That's the golden question. Before any major decision in your life, ask yourself the golden question. Does anybody know the golden question? We've covered this before. Speaking of covering, well, you guys are coming up with the golden question. Let me get us set here on what she said, her apology, her heartfelt contrition from earlier today. And you guys, if anybody knows the golden question, put it in the chat room and we'll... the judges have decided if somebody knows the golden question, they will ding. Wow, you guys are feeling generous today.
Republican colleagues.
Oh, only 2 of them apparently. 2 of the 4 have just, they're fighting now in my ears. Sorry, guys. Here's the weird thing about the judges, and this is, I don't know technically how it works. You guys can't hear the judges. Typically 5, there's only 4 of them in today. You guys can't hear the judges. I hear them in my headphones, okay? I hear their voices right now. They're chattering, and I have to sort of fight through it. So when I make verbal mistakes, when I jump, I'm pausing, it's because they're talking in my headphones. And I don't know how this works, but the weird thing is when I take my headphones off, I can still hear them. I don't know technically how that works. LP says insane. I'm not sure about what, but just apropos of nothing.
My district back home in Georgia 14.
Hi, Yoshi.
To the American people, to my mom and dad. And Madam Speaker,
from Georgia, Mrs. Greene.
Okay.
The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Georgia.
Yes, I'm just going to play that over and over again. Recognizes. The chair recognizes. We talked about this before. Recognize should not have the G in there. Recognize, a much more fun word to say.
For 10 minutes.
thank you. Madam Speaker, my Democrat colleagues.
Okay, this is where we got sidetracked. Can we just start with calling the Democratic Party the Democratic Party, not Democrat Party? Hey, judges, thank you. 2 of them gave it to you. The golden question is, before any major question in your life, ask yourself this question, and then you'll know what to do. How does this affect Kevin? And if the answer is affirmative for me, Kevin, do it.
Republican colleagues, my district back home in Georgia 14, to the American people, to my mom and dad, and my husband and my children. I've been here for 1 month and a day, and I've gotten to know part of my conference, my Republican colleagues, but not even all of them yet.
Okay.
I haven't gotten to know any of my Democrat colleagues, and I haven't had to...
Democratic. If you want to get to know them, just call them Democratic.
have any conversations with any of you to tell you who I am and what I'm about. You only know me by how Media Matters, CNN, MSNBC, and the rest of the mainstream media is portrayed.
And your tweets, and your statements, and your videos, and your Facebook account and your Parler and your Instagram. But other than that, really, it's mostly CNN. This is all CNN's fault.
Train me. What you don't know about me is that I'm a very proud wife of almost 25 years.
And I'm sorry. And I beg for your forgiveness.
That I'm a mother of 3 children. And
mother of 3 children. And in order to set example to those 3 children, I am going to ask you for forgiveness for my folly. I was misinformed. And you know what? I fell for it. And for that, I'm sorry. But what I'm truly regretful for is making any of you feel unsafe around me. I am not a dangerous person. I do support the Second Amendment, but in no way do I mean to advocate harm. I have said before that some of you should be shot in the head or hung, but who hasn't? No, nobody has. No. So please forgive me. This is what she does. I haven't watched this. I just assume this is what she does.
And I consider being a mother the greatest blessing of my life and the greatest thing that I'll ever achieve.
True.
I'm proudly the first person to graduate college in my family, making...
You don't know? You never had that discussion with your mom or dad? Guys, you ever go to college? No? Yes? Yeah? Mom? Yes? Dad? No? Okay.
My parents very happy and proud. I'm also a very successful business owner. We've grown our company.
Oh, she's a successful business owner from Georgia. We know her type. Again, as a successful business, who's sorry, who's very, very sorry. You're American. Who's very, very sorry. Are you very, very sorry, American?
Company from 1 state to 11 states. I'm a very hard worker.
I think I buried the lead there, and Maddie caught it. Maddie said, damn, she went to college? That is the question that I should have asked at that point.
I've always paid my taxes. I've never been arrested. I've never done drugs, but I've gotten a few speeding tickets in my day.
Okay.
What you need to know.
Also, you said the Jews have lasers and incited an erection. Sorry. She's never incited that. An insurrection.
Know about me is I'm a very regular American, just like the people I represent in my district and most people across the country. I never ever considered to run.
Who believes that school shootings are fake?
For Congress or even get involved in politics. As a matter of fact, I wasn't a political person until I found a candidate that I really liked, and his name is Donald J. Trump when he ran for president. To me, his
name was Donald J. Trump and is Donald. I don't even know how to unpack that, guys.
Someone I could relate to, someone that I enjoyed his plain talk, not the offensive things, but just the way he talked normally. And I thought, finally, maybe this is someone that will do something.
She didn't enjoy the offensive things that Trump said. She retweeted them, but she didn't enjoy them.
Something about the things that deeply bother me, like the fact.
Yeah, she got the boot. She will be thrown off the committees if you're just joining us. Which, as we've discussed earlier, if you're just joining us, if you missed the beginning, this is good for her. She has been raising tens of thousands of dollars off of this. She will end up raising hundreds of thousands of dollars and making several $1,000s for appearances on Newsmax, etc.
That we're so deeply in debt that our country has murdered over 62 million people in the womb. The fact that our borders are open.
Okay, so this is about abortion.
And some of my friends have had their children murdered by illegal aliens. Or perhaps that maybe we can stop sending our sons and daughters to fight in foreign wars and be used as the world's police, basically. Or maybe that our government would stand up for our American.
What we should have done after being attacked on 9/11 is nothing, is what she's advocating.
Businesses and our American jobs and make the.
She's pretty much the Mike Birbiglia of Congress.
American people and the American taxpayers their focus.
Oh yeah, no, she'll write a book. She's sending out fundraising emails and texts as we speak. This is about money. Life is about what? I don't know that anyone has actually answered that yet, but this is about money. Congress is about money.
These are the things that I care about deeply.
Raindrops and roses and white supremacists.
So when we elected President Trump, and then I started seeing things in the news that didn't make sense to me, like Russian collusion.
I bet you see a lot of things in the news that don't make sense to you. Move on. Go on.
Which are conspiracy theories also, and have been proven so.
No, they've been proven correct. Trump colluded with Russia. His campaign colluded with Russia. That's been established by the GOP, by the way.
These things bothered me deeply, and I realized just watching CNN or Fox News, I may not.
That I should be on television. No, wait, I should run for Congress. Start your own live stream. You know how much money you can make from YouTube? Not me, you. Because they'll let you broadcast. I'll get demonetized, well, because I'm harmful. I'm feeling a little bitter today.
Not find the truth. And so what I did is I started looking up things on the internet, asking questions like most people do every day.
Okay.
Use Google. And I stumbled across something, and this was at the end of 2017, called QAnon.
Yeah.
Well, these posts were mainly about this Russian collusion information. A lot of it was some of what I would see on the news at night, and I got very interested in it. So I posted about it on Facebook. I read about it. I talked about.
Oh, she's got a career ahead of her. Just this 2 weeks of notoriety, this is enough to now launch her again. Right now, already, she is probably the most famous Republican in the House, and there are again 30 to 32% of this country who support that side so fervently that they will give all their monies to her. I swear to God, I would be a fantastic Tucker or a Sean Hannity. I'm not trying to brag because it's a terrible thing to do, but I could make all kinds of money if I was right wing. Just take somebody big like a Hal Sparks. Look at the money he makes compared to someone about the same size, but on the Republican side, or the conservative side, or on the wacko side. They throw money at these people.
About it, I asked questions about it, and then more information came from it. But you see, here's the problem. Throughout 2018, because I was upset about things and didn't trust the government really, because
Trump.
The people here weren't doing the things that I thought they should be doing for us.
Trump.
The things that I just told you I cared about. And I want
abortion? The people in Washington weren't doing abortion?
A lot of Americans don't trust our government, and that's sad.
Yeah, it is. Actually,
the problem with that is I was allowed to believe things that weren't true, and I would ask questions about them and talk about them. And that is absolutely what I regret. Because if it weren't for the Facebook post and comments that I liked in 2018, I wouldn't be standing here today, and you couldn't point a finger and accuse.
No. It wasn't the stuff that you liked. It was the stuff that you said and wrote.
Accuse me of anything wrong, because I've lived a very good life that I'm proud of. My family's proud of. My husband's proud of. My children are proud of, and that's what my district elected me for. So later in 2018, when I started finding.
All right, well, let's just take a look. Let's take a look here at some Marjorie Taylor Greene, shall we? Let's see about all the stuff she liked on Facebook. Let's just pull up. I don't even know. I see something. I download it. Some of these I haven't even watched yet.
All these different agencies and the courts and all these different offices. They stand in the way. They push papers aside. They stop policies from happening. They don't tell the truth. They won't pass on information. All of those obstructionists and resistance, they are nothing compared to the American people.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
No. What do you say?
See, all of us together, when we rise up, we can end all of this. We can end it.
Okay, so.
We can do it peacefully.
Yeah?
We can. I hope we don't have to do it the other way.
I would bet good money she's about to say, but we might have to be violent about it. Let's find out.
I hope not.
Yeah.
But we should feel like we will if we have to. Because we are the American.
What?
We can end all of this.
Yeah.
We can end it. We can do it peacefully. We can. I hope it doesn't have to, we don't have to do it the other way. I hope not. But we should feel like we will if we have to. Because
Okay, so if everyone doesn't do what they say, we're going to do it the other way, being not peacefully. Okay? So that's something that she actually said, not something that she liked on Facebook. She's talking about a violent insurrection.
we are the American.
Oh, you guys like the AOC. Let's listen to the AOC.
On January 6th of 2021, insurrectionists attacked our Capitol, seeking to overturn the results of our nation's election. 29 days ago, the glass in and around this very chamber was shattered by gunshots, clubs, by individuals seeking to restrain and murder members of Congress duly elected to carry out the duties of their office.
Duties.
29 days ago, Officer Sicknick, who just laid in honor yesterday in our nation's capital, was murdered on the steps just outside this hollowed floor. 2 Capitol police officers have lost their lives since, in addition to the 4 other people who died on the events of January 6th. 29 days ago, food service workers, staffers, children ran or hid for their lives from violence deliberately incited by the former President of the United States. Sadly, less than 29 days later, with little to no accountability for the bloodshed and trauma of the 6th, some are already demanding that we move on, or worse, attempting to minimize, discredit, or belittle the accounts of survivors. In doing so, they not only further harm those who were there that day and provide cover for those responsible, but they also send a tremendously damaging message to survivors of trauma all across this country, that the way to deal with trauma, violence, and targeting is to paper it over, minimize it, and move on. Sadly, this is all too often what we hear from survivors of trauma as the reason why they don't get care, that what they experienced wasn't bad enough or too bad to talk about, or that they are afraid of being invalidated, accused of exaggeration, or making a mountain out of a molehill. As a result, thousands, if not millions, deny themselves the care that they need and deserve to live better lives. 29 days ago, our nation's capital was attacked. That is the big story. And in that big story reside thousands of individual accounts, just as valid and important as the other. Tonight, for this special order, we will begin to hear and commit to the congressional record just some of those many stories. I thank my colleagues who have bravely come forward today to share their accounts. And with that, I yield to my friend, Mr. Welch from Vermont.
Oh, Peter Welch, he's great.
I thank the gentlelady. It was an extraordinary day that started out quite beautiful for me. I live across the street, right next to the Supreme Court.
Okay, we'll make him quiet again and go back to the crazy lady. You guys just don't love Peter Welch as much as I do, or as much as AOC. Everybody loves AOC. Is it that I don't even talk about it. I don't want to talk about AOC because I can't figure it out. I don't understand a lot of it. Well, I mean, I kind of do, but I'd like to consider myself less cynical than I probably am. I could never be cynical. I'd be terrible at it. That's a joke.
Finding misinformation, lies, things that were not true in these, and that's what my district elected me for.
Yeah.
So later in 2018, when I started finding misinformation, lies, things that were not true in these QAnon posts, I stopped believing it. And I want to tell you, any source, and I say this.
No, because she did an interview after getting elected, and she was still espousing some of the QAnon theories. Plus, of course, the whole Trump won the election. So I do not know anything about her rejecting QAnon after 218. I'm not believing it for a second, and I'm sure Twitter is already flooded with examples of her not rejecting that. Let's go back to our examples since we got her up here anyway. Okay, so this one is the one where Joey wears all of Chandler's clothing. This one is a different one here. How about this one?
She's a traitor to our country. She's guilty of treason.
Hold on. I think that's way loud for you guys. I'll turn it down.
She took an oath to protect American citizens and uphold our laws.
Talking about Nancy Pelosi.
And she gives aid and comfort to our enemies who illegally invade our land. That's what treason is. Exactly. And by our law, representatives and senators can be kicked out and no longer
They can be.
serve in our government.
Yeah.
And it's a crime punishable by death, is what treason is.
Right, but that's not... Okay.
Nancy Pelosi is guilty of treason, and we want her out of our government.
Okay, so she's declaring Nancy Pelosi should be put to death. Just put the A, B's, and C's together.
She's held her seat of power for 32 years. She's 78 years old. She is dying in Congress.
I don't know that that's how it works.
We are fed up with these corrupt politicians that hang on to their power just to make...
We should watch AOC, but she's done. She's not talking anymore. What do you guys want to watch? She's been elected. She got elected this last time around in 2020, November 3rd, and now she's just taken her seat as of January 3rd. This is something else from her.
Those are the feminists. These very same feminists that claim they're for women's rights and women's health care. Those very same women, they want socialism. Because here's the truth. They're too weak and pathetic to take care of themselves. They want a great, big, giant government to take care of them. It's such a hypocrisy. They claim that they want the future to be female, but they aren't capable of taking care of themselves. They want a government to do it for them. They're the ones screaming and pushing for socialism. That's the truth.
Yeah, suffragettes. You and your give us the right to vote. Oh, the Netflix?
They signed it. They swore.
Yeah, I haven't watched that documentary. Maybe we'll watch that. Maybe we'll watch that in Zoom sometime. Actually, yeah, no, we can't watch it over YouTube. I'll get demonetized, and we wouldn't want that.
We're in on the Korean.
Oh, we have the Bible. We're going to talk about swearing in on the oath, how to swear in on the Bible with them and let them know what our law says.
That you can't swear in on the Korean. So we're gonna explain
Fun fact, our law does not say you can't swear in on the Quran.
that. We're going to explain about how you can't swear in on the Korean.
You can.
And we're going to have the Bible and ask them if they would swear in on the Bible. That we really need them.
We have the oath.
Yeah, we have the oath. Yep.
So she's on her way to try and get Muslims to swear in on the Bible.
So I think
because of the law.
that's important.
The sad thing is, now
You're infringing on our religion.
Which you should not
You're
be able to.
infringing on our religion.
Yes.
By
Someone is saying you're infringing on our religion.
saying that we can't swear in on the Quran.
But when they swore in, it wasn't a law yet, right? At the time they swore in.
I don't know.
I think at the time they swore in, that wasn't passed.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't have been passed.
Does anybody know, is this some strange Georgia law or something that they passed that you have to swear in on the Bible, which would be unconstitutional, by the way, if they did pass that. But that's been tried before, but that was years ago. I don't know if Georgia just tried that recently.
In a Republican control.
Right.
Yeah, you can just choose whatever book you want to swear in on. I think you can probably swear on other things as well.
Yeah, so it was passed after they swore in. So they're not really official.
Okay, so she's probably talking about a Georgia law. Probably a swearing on the Bible in Georgia law. I'm not even going to bother looking it up right now. These are just some examples of things that she said. I have more, but let's go back to what she's saying now. But for her to say that because she liked a couple of posts on Facebook, ridiculous.
To everyone, any source of information that is a mix of truth and a mix of lies is dangerous, no matter what it is saying, what party it is helping, anything or any country it's about. It's dangerous.
Okay.
And these are the things that happen on the left and the right.
Okay, but let's try and focus on you because you are, how will I put this? You. That's what this is all about, you.
And it is a true problem in our country.
Okay, you know what else is? Jock itch. Jock itch is a problem in our country. You don't want jock itch. Toenail fungus, also a problem in our country. But you know, I don't know that we're here today to discuss those other things. So how about we just focus right now, okay?
So I walked away from those things and I decided I'm going to do what I've done all my life. I'm going to work hard and try to solve the problems that I'm upset about. So I started getting involved in politics. You see, school shootings are absolutely real.
Wow, okay. So if you're at the point where you have to say that school shootings are real, how did you get there?
And every child that is lost, those families mourn it. I understand how terrible it is because when I was 16 years old in 11th grade.
Hold on, what?
And every child that is lost, those families mourn it.
Okay, every child that is lost, those families mourn the loss of that child. Okay, that made sense.
I understand how terrible it is because when I was 16 years old in 11th grade, my school was a gun-free school zone, and one of my schoolmates brought guns to school and took our entire school hostage. And that happened right down the hall from my classroom. I know the fear that David Hogg had that day. I know the fear that these kids have. And this is...
And then she trailed David Hogg and pestered him and asked him about the Second Amendment and yelled at him and called him a liar. And she said previously that the Parkland shooting was a false flag operation, that they were all actors and no kids died. This is the first I've heard about some sort of kid bringing guns to school at her school, but I bet she's going in the direction of we need guns at school.
That's why, and I say this sincerely with all my heart, because I love our kids, every single one of your children, all of our children. I truly believe that children at school should never be left unprotected. I believe they should be just as protected as we were with 30,000 National Guardsmen.
Okay, well, that sounds rational. 30,000 National Guardsmen at the schools. She's talking about guns, people with guns guarding the schools. By the way, at Parkland, there was a police officer with a gun.
Children are our future, and they're our most precious resource.
Oh, she does the worst Whitney.
I also want to tell you 9/11 absolutely happened.
Again, if you're at the point in your life where you're having to stand on the floor of Congress and explain that 9/11 happened, she said before, this is on video, again, she called the Pentagon on 9/11 a hoax because no one's ever seen parts of the airplane. The internet is full of footage of the airplane. People were there and saw the airplane hit.
I remember that.
There's a conspiracy theory that's been going around for years now. God, what is it? Almost 20 years. That there was a bomb in the Pentagon because there wasn't plane wreckage that you could see around. Here's the problem. There was plane wreckage that you could see. But the theory that it was an inside job, that they exploded the bomb, the government wanted to get rid of certain people who worked for the government, and she buys it. She believed it.
That day, crying all day long, watching it on the news. And it's a tragedy for anyone to say it didn't happen. And so that I definitely want to tell you, I do not believe that it's fake.
Okay, well, so this is, you're apologizing right now?
I also want to tell you that
This is their apology. I also want to tell you that I slept with my secretary. I want to tell you that. That was real. And if anybody says it wasn't real, that's not true. And that's a shame. Also, I killed your cat. That is true. That happened. If I'm the other person, I'm going like, so is that a sorry? Is this an apology?
We've got to do better. You see,
What?
and so that I definitely want to tell you, I do not believe that it's fake. I also want to tell you that we've got to do better.
Oh, we do. Do we? We have to?
You see, big media companies can
It's the media. Okay, here we go.
take teeny tiny pieces of words that I've said, that you have said, any of us, and
No, we're talking about you, honey. Focus.
can portray us into someone that we're not. And that is wrong.
We just watched you. We watched you.
Cancel culture is a real thing. It is very real.
Yeah, I know. The Republicans just yesterday, literally last night, tried to cancel Liz Cheney. And you voted.
And when big tech companies like Twitter, you can scroll through and
Yeah.
see where someone may have retweeted porn.
Okay.
This is a problem. This is a terrible, terrible thing.
It is a problem because all of the porn that gets retweeted, those guys have giant schlongs. And I'm like, is everyone's that size? Am I abnormally so? Slept alone last night. Unrelated. Just thought. No, but obviously, I think the guys in... Maybe there's a young lady in the room who has seen more than one or two peens. I mean, not all guys are this big, right? That is freaky though when you're scrolling through your Twitter, and I don't know. Like every once in a while, someone will follow me, and I'll go like, "Oh, okay, I'll follow them back." I'm not knowing that they're going to be retweeting some porn coming up here. First time that happened, it was kind of a shock. It was Ted Cruz.
But yet, when I say that I absolutely believe with all my heart that God's creation is He created them male and female, and that should not be denied, when I am censored for saying those type of things.
Okay, so that's nice. She's using her apology speech to criticize transgender people and or LGBTQ people. So that's a pretty good apology. I'd give it like an 8, maybe an 85. Dick, I could really dance to it. It had a good beat.
That is wrong.
Maddie, you've never seen porn in your life? Go on Twitter. You'll see it.
You see, here's the real situation. I decided to run for Congress.
She's listing a lot of things that are wrong. Not things she's done, but just a lot of... This is instead of an apology speech, this is more of a, here are things that are wrong with you speech. And I just want to tell you that sometimes you have bad breath in the morning. That is a fact. And people should not say that it's not. CNN should cover the fact that you have bad breath in the morning sometimes.
Because I wanted to help.
Now, forgive me.
Help our country. I want Americans to have our American dream. I want to protect our freedoms.
America.
This is what I'm running for Congress on. I never once said during my entire campaign, QAnon. I never once said any of the things that I am being accused of today during my campaign. I never said any of these things since I have been elected for Congress.
Right. Okay. But just before that, these are the words of yesterday. And by yesterday, I mean last night, about 8:35.
These were words of the past, and these things do not represent me. They do not represent...
Ah, man, I'm good at this. These are words of the past, and someone should never be judged on things that they've said or done or stolen or decapitated or fondled inappropriately. We should move on.
Represent my district, and they do not represent my values. Here's what I can tell you. I am beyond grateful for this opportunity, and I'll tell you why. I believe...
Because I hardly ever get to list on national television all the things wrong with you all.
I believe in God with all my heart, and I'm so grateful to be humbled, to be reminded that I'm a sinner, and that...
I know. Al Franken is it turns out that he took a joke photo, of which the person involved was not aware at the time. Sleeping, is that a good idea? No, not a good idea. That there was a kiss in a sketch that was also in that sketch long before that woman was part of that sketch. Okay? Democrats kicked him out, kicked him the hell out of the Senate. You're a senator, which is 4 times as important, theoretically, as a member of the House. Certainly much more power than a member of the House. That's the senior circuit. Yeah, you took a joke photo? Whoa. It was a joke. Not funny. Well, it was funny at the time, and the people were laughing, and yeah, well, it's not funny now. Get out of here. Am I defending Al Franken? Yes. Yes, I am.
That Jesus died on the cross to forgive me for my sins.
Oh, good. So Jesus is forgiving Al Franken. Luckily, Jesus, not a member of the House.
And this is something that I
Jesus is, and he voted against you.
Absolutely rejoice in today to tell you all. And I think it's important for all of us to remember none of us are perfect. None of us are. And none of us can even come close.
And all of us have skin. And some of us have teeth.
To earning our way into heaven just by our
bananas are yellow.
Acts and our works. But it's only through the grace of God. And this is why I will tell you, as a member of this Congress, the 117th Congress, I am a passionate...
Does she hear, like, trumpets in her head as she talks? Doing the Star Spangled Banner? And I can tell you, as a member of this Congress, the 117th Congress of the grand old United States of these America...
person. I'm a competitor. I'm a fighter. I will work with you for good things for the people of this country. But the things I will not stand for is abortion. I think it's the worst thing this country has ever.
I can tell you what the worst thing is. This is the worst apology. I'm trying to think of since apology. I mean, all of Trump's apologies. Yeah, the worst apology since President Obama was born in the United States, and that's all there is. I put an end to it. Hillary Clinton started it. I put an end to it. Man, I've lost my Trump.
Committed.
Which is, it's very positive. It's very positive that we've all lost our Trump.
And if we are to say in God we trust, how do we murder God's creation in the womb? Another thing I will say to this body is I want to work with all of you for our people. It should be America first always. Always. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if...
Well, but yeah, that's what... I mean, you're in the House of Congress. I don't...
This Congress is to tolerate members that condone riots that have hurt American people, attacked police officers, occupied federal property, burned businesses and cities, but yet wants to condemn...
Got it. So it's BLM's fault. That's what this is all about? BLM made you say that the Jews have space lasers?
...me and crucify me in the public square for words that I said, and I regret, a few years ago. That I...
Two years ago. In some cases, 1 year ago.
I think we are in a real big problem, a very big problem. What shall we do as Americans? Shall we stay divided like this? Will we allow the media that is just as guilty as QAnon of presenting truth and lies to divide us? Will we allow ourselves to be addicted to hate and hating one another? I hope not, because that's not...
Should we allow the media like CNN to say that there's a cabal of Democrats who live forever off of the blood of children with whom they have sex in the basement of a pizza parlor that does not exist? Just as bad that Anderson Cooper's eyes are not really that blue. They colorize them.
Not the future I want for my children, and it's not the future I want for any of your children. I yield back my time. Thank you.
Okay. So that was that, and now she's been thrown out, and it's 4:30, so I am done. I gotta go, and I've probably been demonetized again. So thank you very much for being harmed by me. That I could stick around and harm you was grateful. Let me take a quick look, make sure that nothing came in. Well, we have had our little chat here, which I have enjoyed. I hope you have too. Oh, look at this. More PayPals. You guys are awesome. Lindsay, thank you very much, Lindsay. Judges, can you? Yeah. So happy with you, Lindsay. Thank you very much, Lindsay LP in the chat room here. Oh boy, you guys are awesome. Here's another one. Who's this? Go ahead. Go ahead. Andy, who's probably sleeping right now. Thank you so much, Andy. Another one, Jeffrey Sargent. Jeffrey J. Sargent. Social Security number 575-49625. I probably shouldn't. Here's another one. Charles Hannenberg. Chuck is in the house. He was in the house. Thank you very much, Chuck. I don't know if I got a chance to say thank you yesterday. I believe this is from yesterday. And then Allison. So thank you, Allison. Ayers, I thanked yesterday. That's from yesterday. And of course, Marcy, who I thank on the daily for all of her good works. So thank you, everybody, for supporting me. I do appreciate it. And Andy and Andrew and all of them. And everybody who doesn't, who just watches. If you contribute in the chat, I love it. If you watch, I love it. If you're reporting me to YouTube, I don't love that so much, turns out. But you guys are stepping up big time, and I truly appreciate that. If you'd like to contribute, here's the call to action. If you'd like to contribute, here's what you do. When there's a YouTube ad before my video, don't click on it, because it doesn't help me. YouTube is still running ads before my video. I can't get money from my creation, but they're making money from my creation, which is weird. PayPal.me/KevinLeeDad. Venmo, Kevin-Williams-157. I don't know why. And of course, KevinLeeFather.com. Oh, and then be sure to like this live stream, because that helps the monetization. For those of you asking that didn't watch the full video yesterday, in 29 days now, I can apply for remonetization and possibly get that back. It's not the end of the world. We'll come up with different monetization schemes, and I will, I don't know, drive Uber during a pandemic. We'll figure it out. Again, thank you to everybody. I really appreciate everyone's support. The wonderful proprietors of the Outhouse Studio who allow me to do my broadcast here. And also the people who own the stove in which I cooked my ribs today. Sorry, it's an oven. The stove's on top, right? Or is the whole thing a stove? No, the whole thing's a stove. I got it right. Screw you, Grommer. Watch your grammar, people. Are you moving to HAPS when Periscope goes down? I don't know. I don't know what HAPS is, but I'll look it up. Thank you very much, Actions. I appreciate that. Twitter will still exist. Oh, and I got to also look at what the Super Hearts are, because I should cash out before Periscope goes away, when it goes away. You have money on that app? I'll go to HAPS. What's the HAPS, people? Seriously, what is the HAPS? I don't know what that is, but I'll look into it. And then Parler, which I understand was going to be down for 24 hours, so it must be up by now. Guys, here are some people, some wonderful people besides the people that I mentioned. Heath is another one of the wonderful people. He's not in the closing credits, but these people are. I'm going to stop the music and I'm going to ask. Rick M is a chef, if you will, and I hope he does. So am I correct? It is a stove? Because I know there's a wood stove. And that's the oven as well, right? Or is it just, is the stove just the top? And then the oven is the oven, and never the two shall mix. Is that right, Rick M? I'm just waiting on Rick M, if he's hearing this. And hopefully he's not too delayed. So I'll stick with the broadcast until I get an answer on that. That was Chris Wallace saying, Kevin, thank you. So well, that's it. The broadcast's over. So you don't have to hang around. I just want clarification on this from an actual chef. I could Google it, but then I would have to do things with my fingers, and my fingers are busy right now. You don't want to know doing what. Do you guys remember Jeffrey Toobin? Unrelated. Completely unrelated. I don't know why I thought of him. The oven is part of the stove. You put pots on the stove top. That's what I also think, Thomas. I'm waiting for the chef in the group. I don't know, Thomas, you might be a chef. I know that Rick M knows his way around a Nutella jar. What was he talking about? So we do this thing typically on Fridays. We call it the Zoom movie, where we get together on Zoom. We watch a movie, and it was either there or it was in this chat room where Rick M was talking about Nutella and Nutella and mayonnaise, Nutella and cheese. Yeah, Rick's gone. Stephanie says the stove goes on the top. The oven is what you put things in. If Stephanie says it, then we know that the opposite is true. So the oven is the, hold on. Yeah, let's look it up, because now we've got two different answers within the chat room. It was mayo and Nutella. Hold on. We're going to go back to the main feed here, guys, and I'll bring this up. Let's go to the Google, and we will look it up. Google. I didn't have to do that. I could have just put it in the search bar. What are we looking up? Stove. Okay, so those are all... Oh, these are just advertisements. Hold on. Stove. Stop it. Stove. We're going to go for the actual definition. You know what? I bet people specifically asked, is an oven a stove? Look at that. First. So this is not an uncommon query. Is the oven a stove? An oven is a chamber for cooking without external burners. A stove is a cooking appliance within an oven, and a range is typically a combination of both. Okay, so the oven is the oven, the stove is the stove top, and a range is all of it together. Says who? Oh, Jim's Appliance? Yeah, I'll go with Jim's Appliance. Let's just do a random question. What is a stove Sabbath mode on an oven? What is Sabbath mode on an oven? That's an excellent question. Sabbath mode, when in Sabbath mode, your oven will disable its automatic shutoff function to stay on longer than 12 hours. This means that the oven will stay in a bake mode until shut off, which will allow you to use your oven for cooking or warming food. What does that have to do with the Sabbath? I know you're not allowed to do any work on the Sabbath. Hold on. These are Dawn's Appliance. Sabbath mode. Okay, hold on. It's maybe because you can use it to warm things, but you can't use it to cook? Okay. So Jews can't do work that creates on Sabbath. Oh, you can't do work that creates specifically. Okay. Observant Jews interpret this to include various activities, including making a fire, preparing food, or even closing a switch or pressing an electronic button. A range of technology solutions have been created for those who need to use electronic or electronic-controlled devices on the Sabbath, including a special Sabbath mode for otherwise standard appliances. The use of the term Sabbath mode has been made by manufacturers and does not always guarantee full compliance with religious requirements. Appliances. It may not be. Your oven may not be, in fact, rabbinically inspected. Appliances sold with certification from halachic. I don't know how to pronounce that. If you're in the chat room, pronounce it there. Dr. Howard knows this thing. Appliances sold with certification will have been audited and judged to be... No! There are ovens and or stovetops and or ranges that are rabbinically inspected and certified. I love this. You see, we learned something today. This is good because now we're back at zero. Listening to Marjorie Taylor Greene made us dumber. And we just got smarter. And that's why we're here today. L'chaim, everyone. That's the broadcast. We're back to zero.